So today I want to talk about BH Cosmetics. So we heard last year that BH Cosmetics announced that they were filing for bankruptcy. And then we know following that file for bankruptcy, they were purchased by Makeup Revolution. They did announce sometime earlier this year that they were coming out with some new releases. They did launch those releases and we saw that there were two different sets. And I did go ahead and pick up one of the eyeshadow sets. They are the quads. So they came as part of like a play off the travel series, and there were 5 eyeshadow quads that they launched in this collection, in addition to some face palettes that I didn't pick up. So I think the big question has been whether or not this is going to be the same BH Cosmetics quality that we're used to, or whether or not it's going to be a different caliber quality. So what I want to do today is do some swatches on all 5 of these palettes, do some comparisons against the travel series in the large palette size that they already had in their line, and see if it compares, see how well these perform or not well these perform. I'm already hearing rumblings that the quality is just not the same, so I haven't swatched any of these. I've just opened the boxes and I want to test them out with you. Maybe create 2 different eye looks with 2 of the palettes. So let's swatch these and see how they do. Okay, so first up they have Ecstatic in Egypt. So this is the most neutral palette that they launched. So we will swatch this one first to see how buttery or pigmented the formula is. There are 2 mattes in this palette. I think there are probably 2 mattes in each of the palettes. And then there are 2 shimmer shades. Right away, I can tell you that the shimmer was a little bit more stiff than I'm used to with BH Cosmetics, but these all look pretty pigmented. So that is the first palette swatched. It's very, very powdery formula, I'm noticing, so there's a lot of kickback in the pan from swatching this. Next is Iconic in Iceland. This is a much darker palette, so it comes with 1 matte. This is like a satin shimmer, and these 2 are more metallic shimmers. So we will swatch this one as well. A little bit more tricky to pick up those mattes in this palette. This one is a little patchy. But it looks like the shimmer is actually swatched pretty well in this one. I would just say it was definitely a little patchy and a little bit tricky to pick up that shade. Again, quite a lot of kick up in the pan. Next is Mesmerizing and Mykonos. This is a blue and tan color story. There are 2 mattes and then 2 metallic shimmers in this palette. I can tell that these mattes are not as creamy as some of the other mattes in their travel series palettes. That kind of ran out as I was swatching it. These mattes don't appear to perform quite as well as their other palettes in the travel series. This is a shimmery blue. So that is the swatch on that palette. Next we have Meet Me in Malibu. This one has 3 mattes and 1 shimmer. That one felt quite buttery actually. Wow, that's not very pigmented at all. Quite patchy. Let's see how this one picks up. Well, that shimmer shade picked up quite nicely. This one was really patchy and definitely difficult to pick up. Some of these lighter shades are extremely chalky. And that is that one. Next we have Magnetic in Miami. This one here again has 3 mattes and 1 shimmer. That one swatched pretty nicely. Wasn't bad. A little bit difficult to drag that one out. And then shimmer shade. That is the swatch on that one. So that was all of the palettes swatched. I mean, I can definitely tell that the quality is different. It is not the same as that is in the larger palettes. BH Cosmetics is probably my most purchased and favorite high quality, affordable eyeshadow brand. So I'm a little disappointed that their newest launches aren't good. I want to do just a couple quick swatches on one of these palettes. I'll just grab one. All of the quality is the same, but I'll grab one from the Saint-Tropez and I'll kind of show you how far the matte shades will go in a swatch. So I'm going to pick up this blue one here and show you a swatch on my hand. So that is one of the blue shades from the Saint-Tropez palette. And I'm going to take one of the shimmers and swatch that for you as well. So as you can see, they're much butterier, they're much more pigmented, and the swatches go much farther than these quads. So I can already tell that the quality in these larger palettes is much more superior, and that this seems like a different formulation than what BH Cosmetics has previously put out. But I want to try and create 2 looks out of 2 of these palettes and just see how well they perform going on to the eyes. I thought I would try Magnetic in Miami on one eye and then Meet Me in Malibu on the other. So I'm going to go into the Meet Me in Malibu palette first, and I'm going to take this light lavender shade and just put it all over my lid. So it's actually picking up. It's very, very loose in this pan. There's a lot of kickback. But it is showing up on my eye. It's not extremely pigmented. Next, I'm going to go into this orange shade and go into my crease. Not a whole lot showing up on this shadow. It's a very light shade, but it's very, very light. It's not very pigmented at all. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not showing up very much. These shades are very, very light. I'm really building. It's just virtually no pigmentation on this orange shadow. Let's go into this deep purple shade and try and build this up in the outer corner. I'm trying here, but not getting a whole lot of payoff for this darker purple shade. There is fallout all over me, and the shadow is literally just going everywhere. Like, it's coming down here. That darker purple just doesn't even look purple. Like, quite honestly, this is like way more building than you should have to do with the purple shade. This is quite terrible. I'm gonna try and clean up all this fallout. Now I'm gonna try and pick up this green shimmer shade on a brush, and we'll see how it does picking up just dry. It's very chunky. It's actually picking up on a dry brush and applying quite nicely. I'm not having as much trouble with pigmentation on this shimmer shade. However, I am getting a ton of fallout. So that was the look that I created on the right eye. It was very, very difficult to pick these up. So everything looks very light on the eye. Let's now go into the Magnetic in Miami, and I will take this orange shade right here all over. Again, virtually no pigmentation on this, just about as light as the other one. Next, I'm going to go into this lighter pink shade here and go into the crease with the BK Beauty crease brush. There's a lot of kickback. I don't typically have issues with BH Cosmetics shadows and like having this much kickback. I don't ever plan to put my foundation on like after I do my eyes when I'm using BH Cosmetics shadows, but I would say that, you know, you have to in this instance because there's just so much kickback with these shadows, and it's literally like performing very similar to this eye. It's just almost no pigmentation. I mean, you can get a little bit, but it's so bad that hardly anything is showing up. All right, next I'll go into this darker pink shade in the outer corner. Just so much kickback. This is atrocious. Just atrocious. These are terrible. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and pick up this purple shimmer shade down here at the bottom, just on a dry brush, and see how this goes on. Again, the shimmer shade in this instance worked best, was the most pigmented in each of the palettes. I again have quite a bit of fallout, not as much as the first time, but still quite a bit of fallout. So those are the completed eye looks. I didn't even bother doing my lower lash line and lower lash line mascara. It was just so difficult to build up the color in the shadows. As you can see now, that's just a really, really light eye look. Not a lot of pigmentation, a huge amount of fallout. I can tell in comparing the swatches from the other palettes that it's just not the same formula, and it's not even a good formula. I mean, I just don't understand why, if you're going to purchase the company because of the superior formula that they have for an affordable quality shadow, why you would go and change the formula in your next launch. So I was really displeased with these. I can tell it's not the same formulation. I don't know what this means for the future of BH Cosmetics, but the eye looks that I was able to create, just very, very minimal, not my favorite. I have a feeling all of these shadows perform very similarly. The mattes were terrible. The shimmers were a little bit better, but in terms of like overall shimmer performance, BH Cosmetics normally has some of my favorite shimmer formulas. These are very subpar in these quads. I didn't purchase anything else that they recently launched. I thought I would try these, but I'm glad that I didn't because the quality in these was no good. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know down below whether or not you've tried any of the new launches from BH Cosmetics and whether you found the quality also to be pretty underwhelming. I'd love to hear your feedback. That is it for today's video, so I will see you in my next one. Bye.